Hello, welcome to the Dream Stream. I am your host, Yiskah Koock, here with fellow dreamers, Alan Ronis and Dr. Carla Mazzeo. And Carla, I think you were going to share a dream of yours.
Yes. It was very interesting. Well, there were two dreams. One was more recent, but then I had one June 11th. I was just going back in my notes. Unfortunately, I put everything on my phone now. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I do the same.
I don't like being tethered to it that much. I was hiking with one of my brothers, and there was a bear who was very friendly, and he wanted me to befriend the bear. And my brother wanted me to pet him. I said, well, he's a big wild animal. I don't know if I should do that. But he was somewhat demonstrating it was okay. And I was feeling reluctant. But then I had another one. I just want to see when. On the 28th of June, where there was a big bear that wanted me to pet him. And he was part bear, part human feel. There was something very different. And I was telling him, but you're a bear, you're a wild animal. And he was communicating and even had some, I think, person clothing, human clothing. And so I was becoming a little more familiar with this bear. And then later in the evening time, a big black bear came up to my porch.
In waking life.
In waking life.
Having dreamed that the night before.
That morning.
That morning.
Yes. And but my dog scared him away. And then I felt badly that my dog scared him away.
Wasn't Tom Bombadil in the J.R.R. Tolkien, not The Hobbit, but the Lord of the Rings? Isn't that character part bear, part man? Maybe not. I need to ask Lee. he was my go-to for Tolkien. But yeah, I mean, I think that's not an uncommon image in mythology, the man bear, and I never did reach out and touch the bear in either of those dreams.
I believe I did. I was getting closer. And like the bear in this one wanted me to be like a partner. Okay. So there was something more,
I have a clarifying question.
Sure.
What is your association with bear? You're just waking life personal. Is there any?
I think they're beautiful, majestic. I've encountered them many times hiking. I've never had a problem. I even passed a mother and cubs. I used to have a mother and cubs that would come up because I feed birds, so they know a little food spot for them. I'm also on their migration path because I'm nestled by the preserve. So I feel protective of them. I tend not to share timelines too often because I don't want someone to hunt them. I'm trying to coexist, but also recognize that they are wild animals. I had one come up, and I think it was the mother, and she had this bright lime green, one of those things that stick to your clothing in the woods. I forget the name of the plant, but they stick to you. And this one,
seeds with birds.
And it was lime green. It was just like a fresh, and it looked like a crown.
My God.
She had.
That is such a wonderful image.
Wow. Like he
It was,
stuck his nose
I
in
was,
something. And
yeah, and I was sitting on my back porch reading, and I look up, and she's right there. She was so quiet, and she just like was standing up. I had another bear sitting like a dog outside my front door, a big
oh my
one,
goodness.
years ago. I
Wow.
have some neat pictures.
Yes.
And usually they run away. They're afraid, or they, we each respect each other's space. I was in the garden once, and I had the bear come up to the door when I first moved here, and I was a little afraid. I thought, well, I'm trapped. I'm not sure what to do. And nothing happened. The bear smelled me, of course, because they have phenomenal sense of smell. But it just walked up to look for food and then went on its way. And
Wow.
I don't think animals would feel not comfortable around your energy, Carla. You're safe to animals' energy.
I feel with the dog now, he kind of brings in another element that puts me a little more at risk, because even though Velvet is afraid of his own shadow, he becomes very aggressive when he smells the bear, and will bark uncontrollably. And I have to make sure he's inside. I don't, go outside at night like I used to, not with him. So I'm a lot more careful. But so I feel a loss, I guess, that having the dog, it's shifted some of my, the safety of the sanctuary for the bear, in a sense.
Yeah, domesticated animals. Similarly with my cats, I don't want them going outside. I don't want them being a threat to the wildlife.
To the
Birds,
birds.
birds, and
Yeah.
especially, but also the mice, the chipmunks.
I could have a few less mice than chipmunks.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I agree. In the house. Well, do the chipmunks go into your garden?
No, but they were getting a little close, and when we came into the basement. So we're trying to balance out the wildlife habitat.
Okay, Tober will help you there.
Yeah. So, but I also, bears,
These are black bears.
yeah, other associations, it may represent a group, maybe. I don't know. Someone had mentioned to me about lions and bears, and they could be like representative of how we have the elephant and the donkey, or the colors blue and red, that we seem to team up, right, with animals and politics, and
Right, a bear market or a bull market.
right, yes, that also slow growth. And yeah, so, and I'm really trying not to, and I've really never aligned myself, other than the Green Party. I would say I don't want to get in that borderline mentality. I like to take issues at a time and discuss issues, not group think. I never agree with any group completely.
Not us versus them.
Yeah, I just don't see a good end result with that.
Yes.
I say it's grossly limited, and so, but I don't know. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. The something about, you said something about like that the one bear was like a part human and part, and just kind of makes me think of how am I that? How am I? I was just looking up. Sorry if I looked a little distracted. I was looking up bear medicine because I can't help that when there's an animal dream. And, you know, I don't know.
Meditation.
It's
I know those are all different. Those are all different.
introspection.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Introspection. Yeah. Which,
Okay.
I mean, I know, and there are different people do say different things, but introspection seems to be the main thing. And yeah, for whatever that's worth.
Bear is an herbalist. You know, bear knows which herbs it can eat.
Right. And they scent, they have like very keen senses. And they are very protective of their young, which I think most animals are, but they seem very particularly protective. They're young. And maybe there's, I don't know. Yeah, just getting the hit of like something wild in me, like that isn't really wild unless it's provoked, you know, but there's something in me that wants to get some love. Something in me that wants some love, that maybe, I mean, this is total projection, that maybe other people would see as like not okay, not nice, you know, not like a nice girl thing to do. That's
interesting.
Yeah. You know, like, I mean, especially because the women's issues are so up, and it's kind of like we're being squashed back instead of like, you know, taking our clothes off and burning our bras and whatnot, you know, and being free to speak and say and yell and have our voice. Now we're just kind of being put back in there. So I don't, you know, there is a little bit of that.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I've had to, and talking about anger, I've had to vocalize more in establishing rights and boundaries and having people do the right thing. And I had to be more protective of myself and my home and work. And, you know, it's a bit exhausting because there's the level of hypervigilance that happens, and not wanting to be move into the overly suspicious place, but also self-preservation. And these things have really come up the last few years, and there's a level of relentlessness. So I'm trying to discern between what could be innocent, you know, innocent accidents versus what is malevolent intention, and that dark force you were expressing, you know, that you know, and so my tool is talking. That's my necessity. If I can talk with someone and they're able to have some levels of conscious awareness and insight, then I feel there's a certain level of safety there. But if I'm not able to do that, then you know, that trust for me is not able to be established sufficiently.
Right. And then you probably have to work extra hard to kind of keep the boundaries up if you don't feel like there's connection.
That's the vigilance and being on guard of, you know, is this person actively trying to destroy or damage my property, which has come up, and my rental business. I refer to it as the gaslighting. So yeah, and there's a number of incidences that's happened. Recently, I had some work done on my house, and it was going all right. Something came up. We hit some hiccups, and I had to really push for what I needed, what the right thing to do was, because it could have been, it could have resulted in multitude of problems. That was not my doing, it was someone else's doing. But the trust wasn't there. I had to go and supervise and had to really push for and advocate multiple times, the same things multiple times, and in order to see it follow through. it's exhausting, it's like thinking, okay, well, what's around the corner. So yeah, I think
These
that,
are my dreams, though. I feel like Bear is offering Bear's self, herself, his self to me as a totem animal for me. And
mhm,
so I can call on the strength and fierceness of Bear
mhm,
when I need it. Bear
mhm,
is fine with me, wouldn't mind me petting it. Bear is my totem.
mhm. Bear wanted to, right, to form a union with me, or,
Yes,
to kind of merge.
yes,
And yeah, and I guess that is, um, there's a fearlessness in bears, which is lovely. And I guess that's, maybe I'm being called to adopt more of that quality. Um,
yeah, and to know, to feel a little secure in all my questioning, because I have Bear in me.
yeah, I really believe, um, I know certain things, and now I have collected evidence to
Yes,
support my knowledge. And when I try to talk with some people, I still get that glazed over blank stare, silence.
yes.
Um, and it's very frustrating because, um, where are we going with this? How how far are we going? What's the result here? What's the goal? We can't work in this space forever, of me just trying to collect evidence and
Mhm.
have no recourse.
Mhm.
Oh, it's a bad place to be in, being the owner of the apartments that you have to then,
Well, it's not just that,
yeah,
it's everywhere, and it's multiple spaces and multiple people,
yes,
and this kind of relentless, um, abuse, basically. It's abusive, and abuse should not, um, keep going. That's wrong. It's pathological, and that's what, um, that's the psychopath, the
yeah.
characteristic. And so this is not.
That makes me wonder about which brother am I with when he's telling me to pet the bear? Which brother of mine? And then what is my relationship to that brother?
Mhm, mhm,
And because perhaps the things I'm attributing to,
well, this brother has a very strong voice,
okay,
and he is able to express himself very well, and it has an authority in his kind of, that deep voice and the sureness of presence. Um,
Yeah,
mhm,
and I I tend to look at dreams as, in the sort of Jungian way where each character is a part of me, kind of more psychologically oriented. Um, so I find that interesting to kind of integrate that into myself, and that being part of what I'm working for, what I'm shedding light on is,
mhm,
integrating the part of me that has the voice that is
mhm,
needed right now.
mhm.
And maybe the protection of the bear, like if the bear is a part of you, then it's like
Yes.
the gentle protection, um, and the sort of fearlessness
Mhm. Yeah.
to say what I need to say.
Oh,
And
well, and hoping that it has some result, right? So not just saying what I need to say in a vacuous place,
yes,
where nothing changes, but that it's actually productive.
being heard, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, right.
being heard. Thank you.
Being heard, that and something's different and something changes because of that. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's just abuse.
yeah, yes, yeah. Wow.
So that me, I'm a little bit Pollyanna. I always like to see the positive in dreams. And I think that the same way that Ellen, you're looking at it, if I'm every character in my dream, I'm also my very assertive brother and his, matter of fact, or whatever exactly it is. And I also have that in me and bear energy in me. So I feel more equipped to handle all of the BS.
Well, it takes a toll.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's interesting how the emotions may or may not match up. I had a dream that I was going to receive 2 letters from a particular person. And in the dream, in life, we were clashing a bit. And in the dream, we were okay. We were kind of coming to terms. And she was going to give me 2 letters. And then in life, I received a letter from this person.
I love it.
And then I thought, well, what's the second letter? And the second letter came from somebody else related to this other person, which
Wow.
was the evidence, part of my collection of evidence that I had to get. These are basic life issues of
Yeah.
stability and security and health and whatnot. So these are very important topics.
Yes.
And
You're a very not only prolific dreamer, but prophetic. I mean, I don't know if that's the right word, but foreseeing dreamer. You seem to be very in tune, not just with the animals in your backyard, but of the dream world.
Yeah, the feelers are out. It's been a safety thing, right? To have the feelers that extend. And if I'm not receiving honest communication, then I'm trying to ascertain what's happening in another way, because people are not being upfront, direct, or honest in many ways. And so I am seeking information in ways that could help me.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So you're tuning into some other possible messages coming from something outside of the mind.
Right. So, and for me, seeing the bear coming that evening it's a confirmation.
Right. It's like, it feels like an exclamation point on whatever
Right.
is about that dream, which is
right. And
yeah.
which because I would always dismiss or second guess or write it off. I used to have that tendency, but not anymore. I'm like, I think I'm getting it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah.
And that I can't forget anymore. I'm not letting it go. I can't forget.
Yeah.
This is affirming herself.
What's that?
He said the universe is affirming
For me. Yes.
herself. I was just kidding when I said herself, but for want of a better way.
I like that. I like that terminology. Herself.
Yeah, on one level, this is what I was going to say. Right. On one level, it's fascinating. So in the dream I had about the letters, we were making amends. Everything was mellow. It was okay, shaking hands. Yeah. But in real life, I was going after this person because she was coming after me. And so I was holding her accountable to that. And, I wasn't going to give up. And so in life, it was painful and frustrating. And, it affects my well-being and my health. And so the dream, though, the emotional, it didn't seem to represent that. It's like you're further removed in a protective place. Yes. And I think one has to be careful.
Because it's a letter.
understanding as far as the emotional separation. It's almost like taking a drug. When you can see it from way out here, it's different when you're really in it and experiencing it.
Right. It's almost like the dream was giving you the best possible outcome.
Yeah,
That
there's
isn't
that too.
that isn't what's actually happening in the waking life.
Right.
And-
Not the emotional, but
Or is the
the
dream foretelling me where we're gonna get to? But right now, we're in a
Yeah.
shitty place, and but ultimately, we'll shake hands about it or whatever.
right, but that could be the dangling carrot, right? That
Mhm.
the dangling carrot. Oh,
Wish
so
fulfillment.
one has to be careful of that.
Are you being a Freudian?
Of the right, of the, someday it will happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Someday.
Like not being realistic or being, I don't know.
It could be wishful thinking, or
Yeah.
just, again, if you're not in the seat of feeling this abuse, then yeah, you could say, it's not so bad and it'll get
One
better.
day.
One day someone will stop beating you.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
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 So
So
yeah.
Carla, how can you honor the dream or do something in the world to maybe encourage that outcome? Is there something